Hey guys, welcome back to another video for Alex's Flying Club. I am flying in FSX and I am in the flight deck of the Premier Aircraft Design Beechcraft 1900D, and I'm running through the startup procedure. I'm doing a night flight in Alaska. I'm flying between Anchorage Airport and Fairbanks Airport. Since I did this flight last week, I don't remember which way I'm going because I did it twice. Once from Fairbanks to Anchorage, and then the second flight I did back from Anchorage to Fairbanks. So I'm not sure which one I recorded, but in any case, this is going to be a night flight, as you can see, in one of my favorite aircraft. I'm still using the freeware Premier Aircraft Design. I'm going to be upgrading to the Continental 1900 fairly soon. They should go on sale during the holiday season. And Continental did come out with this aircraft for X-Plane as well. That's their latest aircraft for X-Plane, as far as I know. And it's received good reviews. It's got some new features that they haven't done in X-Plane before, such as the mouse wheel hover over spots. If you see any of the videos in X-Plane, it's kind of a cool feature. And during this flight, I'm going to talk about a little bit about the aircraft itself, but also kind of my thoughts on flight simulation recently. Here I am taxiing. It's going to be a fairly short video, about 12 minutes. I've edited a lot of the footage. This is a really fun flight. It's actually inspired by a review I read of the Continental 1900, and I'll link to that review in the description of this video below. And it was written by an actual pilot who flew many hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours, in the Beechcraft 1900. And it's kind of very cool to get a pilot's perspective on these aircraft add-ons and how they fly, and they can tell you all the details of how accurate the aircraft add-on developers recreated the aircraft. And Continental did a fairly good job. It's not perfect, but... And this pilot was flying in Alaska, and he flew this route between Fairbanks and Anchorage as one of the main routes that he did in the 1900s. So I was kind of inspired by that and decided to recreate it here. So I've taken off, and I should mention that I'm using the Air New Zealand upgrade to the Premier Aircraft Design. They have like the stock version of the aircraft, and they redesigned the model, and that's available with the Air New Zealand livery. But then I changed that livery to be the Continental Express or whatever. So on the outside of the plane, but the flight model is the upgraded version. But what I noticed was the airspeed indicator in this version was completely inaccurate, and yeah, I had to replace it with a default Baron speed indicator, which you see in that shot where it says knots. That's the default King Air airspeed indicator from FSX, and I just went into the panel config file or whatever and changed one of the lines there, because it was showing like an airspeed indicator from a much slower aircraft. So that's what I did. I'm not too worried about customizing this aircraft because, like I said, I'm just going to be flying this until I get the Continental version. In the past few weeks, I've been more and more interested in Pilot Edge. That's the alternative to VATSIM, where there are paid air traffic controllers, and they cover most of Southern California, and you're restricted to that region when you're flying. but you get really good practice in your air traffic communication. Your communication with ATC as a pilot. I haven't tried it myself actually, but I've seen a lot of videos of people flying in Pilot Edge, and the creator of Pilot Edge, Keith Smith, has a lot of nice videos about air traffic control and different kinds of airspaces, so that's been keeping me interested, and eventually I'll give that a go. But for now I'm taking a bit of a break from flight sims to focus on school and real life and whatnot. I also did resign from the virtual United Airlines, so I'm just kind of on my own currently without a virtual organization of any sort. No squadron, no virtual airline. Just gonna be flying for fun. That's what it's all about anyway. But after this video, I will, like I said, take a little bit of a break and probably won't post the video for maybe a month or so. But after that, around the holiday time, I will hopefully come back with a video of the Continental aircraft. But if you are interested in the Beechcraft 1900, or Beechcraft aircraft in general, I'd recommend you go check out Premier Aircraft Design. This is a nice freeware aircraft, especially if you fix the airspeed indicator, and all in all it's really a pleasure to hand fly, and it's decently modeled, I think. It looks nice from the outside if you like flying in exterior views. Here I am on the descent. On descents I take it to about 10 on the torque, 10% I guess on the torque. Now I think I'm doing an ILS landing here, but I noticed that it tracks the glide slope to a certain point. If the speed gets too low, and it seems that that level of speed is actually higher than I expected. Like if it gets to be around 130 knots indicated, I guess it's too slow for the aircraft, and it'll stop tracking the glide slope. And you'll see what I mean, I think, in a minute here. So you gotta kind of keep your speed up when you're on the ILS descent. Like you can see that the aircraft is not tracking the glide slope well there. I'm not sure if that's just FSX or this aircraft in particular. Yeah. I did most of my ILS training. I did most of my ILS training in FS9, as you've probably seen in my previous videos. And I actually haven't done a lot of ILS in FSX. So at some point I'll have to try like in the default Cessna or something. But it doesn't seem to track as well for me as in Flight Simulator 2004. It's not too bad, but as you can see, the glide slope indicator is still higher than but according to the glide slope, we're lower than we should be, which is a bit strange. And the consequence of that is my approach speed is too high, so it took me a while to get the wheels on the ground. If I came in over the fence at about 115 knots instead of like 135, I think that touchdown would have been a little more proper. Alright, skipped ahead a little bit. Now we're parked at the gate. I'm going to do a quick shutdown procedure, as always. Keep forgetting about the seatbelt lights in this aircraft because they're not in the pop-up panel, just in the virtual cockpit. Wait till the engines shut down, and then I'll turn off all the lights and the battery. There we go. Generator's off. And that's the shutdown procedure. Pretty basic with this aircraft. At least this version of the Beech 1900. I'm going to do a quick exterior shot. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this night flight in Alaska. And I'll see you guys in the virtual skies. Until next time.